Welcome to your next step up the self-publishing mountain.
I'm Matilda Swift, author of quintessentially British cozy mysteries.
And I'm Samantha Cummings, author of young adult books about magic, myths and monsters.
I've written the books,
Changed their covers,
tweaked their blurbs,
tried tools from a dozen ads courses.
and I'm still not seeing success.
Now, we're working together to plot and plan our way from barely making ends meet to pulling in a living wage.
Join us on our journey where we'll be mastering the pen to snag that paycheck.
Hello and welcome to Pen to Paycheck Authors Podcast. I'm Samantha Cummings, here with my co-host Matilda Swift, and we're here to write our way to financial success. We're two indie authors with over 24 books between us and still a long way to go towards the quit the day job dream. If that sounds familiar, listen along for our Mastery Through Missteps journey. Each week we cover a topic to help along the way, and this week we're sharing our takeaways from an indie author business book. But first, what are your wins and twinges of the week?
I feel like it's been such a long week for me. I've done like a million things in a good way, but also I'm very tired. I have been doing a lot of reading, so I'm doing a lot of reading while researching a new genre, which is good, but like in this genre the books are longer, so I just feel like I'm struggling. I was initially being like, I'm going to read 1 to 2 books a day, get loads of books done, that's what I'm going to do. I don't know why I thought this.
You're insane.
Because at Christmas I read a book a day and it was doable, even though it was Christmas and I'm busy. It has not proved doable. I haven't even read 1 book a day, so slacking. But yeah, so we're doing that. I don't know what else I've been doing. Like, where else my time gone? I don't know. But I have lots of things. Like, my shower broke this week. And it's a very, very old shower. So, like, I always knew it would need replacing at some point. It came with the house, and the people who had the house for me had not done a lot. So, but it did this week. And I've got a cat sitter coming while I'm away at SBS who's going to be staying at my house. And I can't be like, welcome to my house. You can't have a shower. So I had to go to B&Q to get the shower, organise someone to come and replace it. And I feel like, interestingly, I feel like I'm over the hump of feeling incompetent. Like, I've really felt really incompetent for a lot of this year, which I don't know if I've probably kept my cool about that. But as we all talk about today, I really hate feeling incompetent. So it was nice to have like a problem and just fix it. Like, that's my jam. Had a significant problem, no shower, absolutely wasn't working. Just bought a new shower, hired someone to replace it within 2 days. So excellent, great work, me. And it's been like a week of things like that, and I had a really good meeting with another author who I have known for a long time, but like we've never had a good sit down chat. Now this person's working near me, so we can see each other and we can see each other regularly. And when you go and meet someone, you think like, it could be anything. I don't know them well enough to know what the actual like one-on-one conversation can be like. And it was perfect. And like I came away feeling really empowered and like full of ideas, and also feeling like this is a great relationship to be like building on and cultivating. So I've had just a week like that. Like, there's been many other things like that. So great work, me. But I am feeling very tired. I woke up super early this morning and felt just wide awake. And then I was like, I've got a book to read, so let me get on and read that. And then I had some chores to do in preparation for going away. And then I went to the gym and then did co-working. I've done all the things. And now it's like 8 p.m. and I'm ready to go to bed. So yeah, I've had a lot of wins and wins this week. How about you?
Yeah, I feel like they're not really wins or whinges. I've just been surviving this week. I had a great birthday on Monday. So it was my birthday on Monday, and like my NetGalley arc thing kicked in. So I spent some time doing that and, you know, getting requests in for my arc, my next book. And I had a day of just doing what I wanted to do, which was not leave the house and write and eat good food and watch a good movie. So we watched Big, because I love the film Big. So we watched Big.
I think one of the like best movies of all time. Like,
one of the best movies of all time.
It's got so good memorable scenes in it, and just like it like perfectly captures that, like, exactly what you want as a kid, but you can feel nostalgic about as an adult.
A fantastic film, and I love it so much. So that was really nice. And then I just had a week of non-stop headache. Just like, I've just been writing a lot, and I'm really busy at my day job at the moment, because we've got some big projects.
I thought you've been saying that for ages.
It has been very busy, but also we've just had like really big projects on recently, and like I'm supposed to be like delivering some projects, but they're just not going how I want them to go through no fault of my own, just other people being incompetent. So it's just, yeah, just been very difficult. And also, like, it is still, like, I love going into work, so it's not bad, but it's just, I'm using up more mental energy thinking about work than I usually like to. So, you know, just been one of those weeks. Also, we've been reading a book this week. Well, I've been reading it this week, and just been having very big...
Before you malign me, I have read it this week. I know I don't normally do a lot of pitch for the podcast, but I have read the book this week.
Yeah. But I know that you'd already like, read some of it previously.
Yeah. But I went back to page 1 and intend to read the whole thing in preparation for this podcast.
So we both read the book this week, but it has made my brain have to work even more. So I just feel very drained and, yeah, like a crazy person. I just feel like I've kind of gone a bit insane this week.
In a good way?
Just in it. I don't know. That's why it's not really a win or whinge. It's like just I have survived the week. Good for me.
And just gone a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. One of those weeks. Just one of those regular weeks. Okay.
Just a regular week.
So we have both read a book this week, which is something I was going to say new for us. We read, but like this dedicated reading of a book together is something new. I am always guilty of reading a business or a craft book and thinking that the information will just magically absorb into my head, and it will impact my actions without me really consciously doing anything. But I think there might be a better way. So what have we read this week, and what do we want to do with it?
Okay, so we read Reclaim Your Author Career by C.L. Taylor, and it's a book about how your Enneagram personality type can affect and positively, hopefully, impact your indie author career. And the whole point of reading this is, I think we're both at that point now where we're thinking about the next thing. And so we really want to be loading our brains up with information that's going to help us make choices that align with our personality types. Because we're both those people that love to learn about ourselves. And I love talking about it. And I have like deep dived into a lot of my personality this week, which is part of why I feel kind of a bit insane. So yeah, I think like just reading this book, the way that what I wanted to come away from it with is a clearer view of how me as a person can impact my career rather than my career impacting me. Just to you talk a bit sassy.
Yeah, rather it's like happening to you and you sort of reacting. I also think like I wanted to use it as a practice to just get better at consciously using books I read rather than just, I mean, like, I read that, done, shut the book.
Yeah.
This one's an interesting one because I feel that the title is not the right title for it, if I'm honest. So it's by Claire Taylor, C.L. Taylor. She's got a podcast, What If for Authors, that I'll link in the show notes. And she also currently co-hosts or previously co-hosted Brian Cohen's Samuel Book Show. I don't think she's on it anymore. But yes, I will link to both of those. Hang on, put the notes down. So I think I came across this when I was doing my deep dive into Enneagram things. I was looking at character, and I found it very helpful. Like, I think generally I find personality type information helpful because I think I just assume that I am normal and that what people say will apply to me because I am a normal person. And we were talking about this last week, like we are both like normal in terms of like our interests and, you know, enjoying very average millennial like cultural things. But when people give advice in the indie author space, like, oh, just write the next book or write to market, you'd be like, okay, that's everyone says that's true, so that's what I'll do. And then you come out and be like, were you lying? That absolutely doesn't work for me. I don't know what you're talking about. And then you sort of think like, oh, actually, I'm just not, like, those words didn't impact me the same way. They didn't mean the same thing to me that the person intended or something like that. So I think I'm trying to get better at like really looking for tailoring things and like being able to listen through a lens of what I'm actually going to do and what's actually going to work for me. And I think that's quite why I like the C.L. Taylor book. She is really, really skeptical in a good way. She's very funny, so she's not the whole book is like amusingly written. She's a sort of satire writer, but she's quite skeptical about like taking everyone's advice. And she's always saying, you know, whenever I see people on a stage at a conference and they're giving advice like, oh, just do this thing, she's like, yeah, they're always an Enneagram type 3. So it's like, it does work if you're an Enneagram type 3, which is an activator. If you haven't done the Enneagram or anything about it, there's just like, it's a broad categorization into like people into 9 types. And you would think, that couldn't be me. I couldn't be with 9 types. And then you read about it, you're like, that's exactly me. 100% couldn't be more me. Yeah. Who knew there were other people exactly like this? So you can do free Enneagram tests online, or like generally it's because there's only 9, you can usually just read the descriptions of them and be like, yeah, that's me. So I did a test when I was doing all this character research. And I think even before that I could have told you what it was just from reading it, but like it came up very clearly of like, yes, this type, which if you read it is just like a description of me and how I work and think.
Yeah.
Which turns out is not everyone. And then Sam had done an Enneagram test a while ago and then messaged me this week being like, I've retyped, I've done a new test and I've got a new type. And I think can I guess what your type is?
You can, yeah.
Well, I think you might. It's one of those ones where, like, you might find it really rude if I'm wrong. You're like, no, that's not me. That's crazy. And I think the interesting about Enneagram is like, it's not about really what you're doing on the outside. It's about your motivation to do things. So, because I was reading this book about Enneagrams, I was trying to figure out like, what do I think in this book applies to Sam and how she thinks. So I am a type 5, which is like the investigator, always wants to like know more and be correct and be knowledgeable. And I think you're a type 4, the individualist.
I'm not a type 4.
Originally, yeah.
And it's funny because I have read, obviously, like I know I've read all the different ones, and I did think like there were some parts of that did ring true.
I had very Mist Over Trees vibes.
Yes, but I am actually a 7.
What's a 7?
Which
like
is
the Jester or something, the 7? It's got a weird name, right?
It has got a weird name. I'm not very good at remembering the names. So let me see if I've got it up here. This is going to be annoying because I had it.
Where you are.
I know I'm in a bit of a black hole of the internet. So let me. But I had it open on my screen, but it's kind of gone.
Oh. Also, now I'm going to go back and read this book and be like, what is Enneagram Type 7?
The enthusiast / the adventurer. And the reason it rings true is because I am those things, the best parts of myself. Because I always talk about having the 2 wolves inside me, and this is like really confirmed it. Because the test that I did, you can have things called wings, so you can have like your main Enneagram, and then there'll be like a wing thing, which is like like a different side of it. And my wing is 6, which is the loyalist, and that's what I'd originally gotten years and years ago when I did the test. I had gotten 6, and it felt very much like me at the time. But I think really that was because I hadn't done any like. It was like cause the loyalist is also kind of a lot of fear-based stuff, and. I think that's how I used to be, and I've gotten a lot better at that part of myself that I don't fully think like it's like the results were like actually you are this like adventurer person, but you do have also this fear-based loyalist thing inside you, and that's why it kind of felt very, very true.
Yeah, I think I'd read the information about a 7 before. I thought there were things in there that like sounded like you. But it is all about adventuring, and that's not a way that we interact, or even the way that you talk about things, like wanting to be free and escape and adventure and things. But then looking at like the Google summary at the moment, it's like key strength, infectious enthusiasm, and the ability to find opportunity and joy in almost any situation.
Yes. I actually think that the title of like the adventurer is misleading, because I think the enthusiast is more fitting for type 7, is that I may not actually go out on adventures because fear and anxiety hold me back, which is like the bad points, but I am very enthusiastic about the idea of an adventure. And that was quite a fun thing to realize. And obviously reading this book, I've highlighted like different parts about myself. and like it's just like real existential crisis, but in a good way and also a bad way, because it's like, oh yeah, I didn't really think that much about those parts of my personality. In some ways, like maybe take them for granted, and I haven't. You realize that you're not really playing to your strengths that much when you read what other people have to say about it.
Yeah.
So,
which I think is what this book has really helped, is like really just saying, if you are like this or you think like this, like there's no point in you focusing on these aspects of the business, because you're just going to waste energy, and like you should look at these aspects of it. And I think the part that really if I only read one thing of this and took it away, it's the part where it says like, what are you motivated by for your career?
yes.
Like, why do you write, basically? And I think for a long time I've really struggled with, like, in the cozy mystery community, it's like a lot of the successful authors are really like building a community, and they're really friendly, and like they want to engage other people, and they want to be sharing and like writing in order to give other people a story to help them through a tough time. And it's like, and I feel like a monster because I don't care about that.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
I don't have any interest in that. I don't want to engage with people who I don't know well. Like, and part of it I was thinking, like, maybe I'm just like, that's how introverted I am, is I really only like intense one-on-one conversations with people I actually care about, rather than like a generic sort of community building with strangers. But actually looking at this, it really, when it breaks down by type, like what you're going to care about and why you're writing, is like, oh, that's a different type. Like, some types really care about writing in order to like share a truth about the world, or to be building a community. I was like, not me.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought thought the same thing when I was reading the reasons, and I think that is, everyone always talks about, you should know why you write. You should know what you want your business to be, and like why you're doing it, because you wouldn't do it for no reason. Which I don't know if that's true per se, but maybe I just don't see myself being driven to writing as much as it like people tend to think.
I think it just feels so intrinsic of just like, what else would I be doing?
Yeah.
Like,
so for a 7, I think one, like the main kind of reason for writing, and I've always struggled, like say, like to decide what
people always like find your why, and be like,
oh my god, I know,
don't know
and I kind of felt like a fraud like every time I thought, well, my why is like, you kind of think you're supposed to say something like, to help other people feel accepted. And
that's what people say out loud. And I was like, are they lying? Because that sounds like not true.
It feels like very fraudulent to me, because I'm like, in some ways I don't really care about other people's experiences. And I do in a way, but the thing with like the 7's reason for like doing it is to like be able to safely explore in worlds of their own, like their creation. And that could not be more me. Is that I'm such a vivid imaginer, and that's what writing does for me. It gives me the opportunity to basically create a universe and explore it. And that was like a really nice thing to read and be like, oh god, that's so obvious. Like, oh, you. And I feel like that a lot of the things in this book I was like, oh, of course, you idiot. Which is always fun.
But it is like I was saying at the beginning of the book, of just like, the people who talk the loudest are really one specific type. The people who want to get on a stage and say, this is how you do it. Like, they're activator types, are type 3. And then sort of people who get on stage and shout loudly. And that's not only people who give talks, but like that is the kind of loud, brash people who you will hear the loudest. And they are like, doing it for a very specific reason. And it's not the same reason I'm doing it. And I think I also don't write in a way that values the experience of other people reading, which sounds ludicrous because it is like a communicative art form, writing, but it just doesn't factor in. Like, I don't feel that other side of it when I'm writing at all, so there's no point pretending that I am. And so at type 5, the like purpose for writing, which when I read it is like, yeah, of course, is to explore life's mysteries, to build your very own world, to create puzzles and solve them. And it's like, so to write cozy mysteries.
Exactly what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, there's just nothing in there about like build a community or create a safe space for the world that everyone talks about loudly, that I feel like, are they lying? Like, no, they're not lying. That is their real reason for writing. And it's not mine, so there's no point pretending it is mine. And there's no point trying to build a career where I magically one day will wake up and be like, I want to build a community of readers who all love the world I've created. Like, that's like some Truman Show awful situation for me where I'm like living a lie and it's fake and it feels unpleasant. Like, it looks pleasant, but it would feel like a nightmare to me.
Yeah.
And that's not saying it's not valuable and it doesn't feel good to other people, but like nothing about it appeals to me. And so there's no point trying to build my career around like, I'm going to build a community of like really great fans who just want to share my work. Like, I'm not. So what am I going to do?
Yeah, it's I think one of mine is to do with like I did highlight things, but it's hard to kind of like skip around on a Kindle. I wish I bought the paperback because I love flipping backwards and forwards. I think I will buy the paperback just so I can actually physically flip through the book. Like mine is very much community based, but that's not for like the reason for doing stuff, but for like the thing that I enjoy, which is championing other people and like basically being the life and soul of the party, which I would say that I am. I would say I was that person. So I think like the community aspect for me isn't in that I want to. I do want people to like my books and be in a community about liking my books, but I don't want to be the person to lead that.
Yeah.
I'm not the leader of the adventurers party. I'm just there for the fun.
Yeah.
And so like reading a lot of this stuff has very much felt like reaffirming my personality type, that it's just nice to see it written down in a way that makes it not feel like it's bad. And it's not that I think that like my personality type is bad, but and you just sometimes feel like you're doing stuff wrong.
Yeah.
This book has very much made me
saying something very different. You're like,
yes, yeah.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, and I feel like
no, it's just not who you are. Yeah. So you can't pretend to be somebody else.
Yeah. It's really nice to see it. And after I kind of did my whole Enneagram type and like found out what wing I was, and I then kind of went a bit deeper and put all that together with my Myers-Briggs personality type, and then also my top 3 star sign, like my sun, moon, and rising.
and did you have your strengths in there?
And I didn't put my strengths in there, but I feel like I was thinking about that today. Like I could add my strengths in there as well and try and basically profile myself to feel, I don't know, I want to look at a document that has me on it and be like, yeah, okay, so if this is a character, which I have to look at myself as a character, what's the best, like what's her story and how is she going to get to where she wants to go?
How does she succeed?
That's why my brain's been really buzzy this week, is because I've taken this book and then just built on top of it and like gone to, because I love the personality thing so much, like personality types. It just set me off on a fun excursion into my psyche.
I think, to be fair, like that's what I hope this book would be like, okay, if you're this person, follow this path. And like and the title of the book is Reclaim Your Author Career. And like a huge amount of the book is not about your author career.
It's
at
not.
All.
No.
It's about like the sorts of things you'll be interested in writing. And
yes.
I don't know whether some of it just didn't feel like it really resonated because it's stuff we've talked about.
Yes.
Already, so it doesn't feel new or interesting. But also, I think it feels like it's written like with Claire Taylor's own interests in mind, as in like this is what she focused on her author career. Because it's a lot about like the themes you're going to write about, the protagonist you're going to write, the persona you'll present to the world, and what I'm interested in is like, okay, knowing the sort of person that I am, like what should I be thinking about in terms of like what strategies and tactics to rule in and out, and like how would I weigh those things, and like other things that I should just stop thinking about, like should I just be like, just don't do social media, there's no point, you're never going to enjoy it, you're never going to build anything for it, it doesn't do anything for your type at all, just quit. It's sort of what I was hoping it would do.
And I'm assuming it didn't do that because it's not really
No.
not really
And
about
that's fine,
that.
right? Like it
Yes.
was a good jumping off point thoughts wise, but
Yeah.
it contained a lot of stuff that I think some of it we have talked about before. We've talked a lot about persona, like your author persona, and some
Yeah.
of it was about like what you're going to write, which just didn't
Yeah.
feel like that's what I was in the book for.
No, so the book has like different sections, and it's like, yeah, you've got your persona, and basically there's a lot of stuff about your persona and your brand, and yeah, like the writing part as well. There's a lot of stuff about, and I was really interested in some of it, but like this is how you would, if you're going to write characters, you should really know what their Enneagram is, so that you can like you understand what their positive points are, and like the stuff that kind of drags them down, and what their fears and all that stuff is. And that was very interesting. But you're right, the title of the book is Reclaim Your Author Career. So I thought it would be more like what you should do. Number 7. Yeah, this is like a blueprint of what your week should look like, and then like your schedule of publication. I know that's silly because that's obviously you have to decide some things for yourself, but I did think it would be
silly, like,
more...
I think it would have been useful if like I would have thought that there'd be some of that in there.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. Like I think it's good to know that's what I was looking for, because like the book can be whatever it is, right? There's no right or wrong with this, and I can imagine people coming to this book and like if they've not been presenting a podcast on this topic for a couple of years, they maybe haven't covered any of these ideas about like what should my persona be. And it's just that I think it didn't feel like to me it went together, and I assume to Claire Taylor it feels like it does go together because that's with like related to her type. It didn't feel like it all built on each other, and I think for me what I'm looking for is, and it's useful to know, right, what I'm looking for is really like knowing my Enneagram type, but knowing like what I care about then is like exploring mysteries, kind of like building worlds to explore things. Now what? Like, what am I going to do in my author career? Like, how do I make money from that?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So like the actual like career advice that was given for 7s at the end didn't actually feel like I read it and I thought, oh, maybe I'm not a 7, because it didn't actually like it didn't make me go, oh yeah, because so there was a section.
I didn't feel like about mine, and I feel really confident about my Enneagram type.
Yeah, the section, it said like this is what your career should look like, this is what you should do. And I really did think like, oh, but I don't, because for mine the suggestion was, you know, like you get easily distracted, so you're always looking for the next shiny thing, so work on 2 projects at once and bounce from one to another. You know, when you're bored doing this one, then go on to this one. And it's like, that sounds kind of okay, but at the same time that feels like a lot of stopping and starting, which I can't do. I'm not a stopper and starter. I've got to see it through. Otherwise
you never come back to it.
No, like you've lost me. And I think that's why going and looking at my other personality types, like my, like I said, my Myers, however we say that, Myers-Briggs.
I think it's Myers, yeah.
And my like obviously like ADHD plays a big part in my personality type, and I really do feel like my star sign, my like my horoscope and everything, and my birth chart, I feel like it actually, when I put it all together, that's when I felt like I was like, I couldn't be more this person. So just to give like an overview of like who I am, is that I'm like a Gemini sun and a Gemini rising, which to a lot of people that's like doesn't mean anything.
I don't know what this was.
That basically means that the person that I present to the world, and like the person that I kind of like I am, is Gemini, which is like a very social, communicative person. It's an air sign, so I'm like a very like, you know, up for fun and games and stuff. But my moon, I know this is going to cut, like some people will leave at this point. My moon is Scorpio, and that's effectively, that is my 7 and 6. So it ties in. So like my Gemini is 7, and my moon, which is like the person I am on the inside, like my inner world, is very much like the 6, which is like the loyalist who is very like worried that they're gonna lose out on stuff, or like very introspective and very much more hesitant So it's the two wolves effectively that I always talk about. Like, are in my whole personality type. Every single test that I do, it's like, yeah, because you've got these two opposing forces that you're constantly in battle with. And it's funny because for the last like year, when I've been doing like work on myself and you're just trying to figure out who I am and how I could live life better, I always feel this pull of like light and dark. And this is going to sound so like woo-woo, I know, but I've always felt like I have these two personalities, and it's always felt very like, which one am I supposed to be? Like, I'm like, one of them should be the one. Like, I should be just like one person, and I feel like more than one person, which some people might say is just bad mental health, but it's not.
But I think it's like that's a correct thing to pay attention to, and that like I think when you look at other people who are succeeding in the author world, like friends that we have, who just seem so just like just do this, like really like just do this and it works. You're like there are people who have found their way, right? Who are not conflicted, who are like, I just did this thing and it worked. And it's like that's not because they are somehow blessed by the universe or they are like the world's best writers and just like sat around on their clouds of genius. They have just found the way that works for them, and like they are at ease with that. And I feel like neither of us really have. Like I think we are maybe not like just haven't quite found other people who are doing things like us, and like trying to listen to. We're both like good. We love learning, so we're both like trying to love people who are just like not like us. So then you try and do what they say, like, oh, this doesn't make sense, and it just feels like constantly being pulled in two directions of like, I think this, but I don't know anything. They say this and they know a lot, and yet I can't match up like what I'm doing with what they're saying.
Yeah, it's very much like trying to talk somebody else's language, and like you can mimic the sounds, but you don't actually fully understand what you're saying, and you don't really understand, like, it's just it just doesn't fit, and you just to like hammer in another like simile here is like round peg square hole. It just doesn't it doesn't feel good, and that's it. Like this book is all about trying to like align yourself with the right career path for you, and I feel like I'm close to alignment now, because it's nice to know all this personality stuff, and it's also it's very like fun to read all this stuff about how to write better characters, because I'm always like trying to write better characters. So that was a very helpful thing. But I feel like I'm a little bit closer to feeling like I'm in alignment with myself, but I still don't see how that will lead to a career. Like there's a lot of assumptions in the book, which is, if you do this, you'll make money.
And I also just think like there's a lot of stuff in the book that doesn't really seem to be focused on that. Like it's more about you being happy with what you're writing.
Yes,
and I think that's in a large part because I think for Taylor, that's her main focus. Is like she talks about it in the book. Is like, I chose to either writing a series where I made a lot of money, but I wasn't really very happy doing it, and a series where I loved doing it and I found very loyal readers who were huge fans, and I was happy doing it. And it's like, I don't feel like either of those options are available to me. So it's not like I'm choosing between two great options.
Yes, I think that's, and also like I'm not sure, because I've never like deep dived into who she is or what her background is, so I don't know her financial situation or how she was able to make the choice. And maybe she just scrimped and saved and lived on a very small budget. That's fine. But that's another difficult thing as well when you're looking at trying to figure out what your career should look like. Is you're trying to find people who are your personality type in order to see like how are they doing this? How are they like happy with what they're doing? But it's also it's really one of the biggest or most important things I think for me is finding somebody with this who's in the same lifestyle as me, which is like I own my flat, but I'd like to live in a house. But also, like I'm not married, but I do have a partner and I have a dog and a full-time job. So I'm within a particular wage bracket, and I need to be able to make a certain amount of money to pay for a mortgage.
You're not supported by a rich husband, which I
I'm
think a
not
lot of people
supported.
silently are.
Yeah, I'm not supported by a rich
Which is
husband.
fine, but like is not relevant to what
I
your
am the
choice you're gonna
rich
make.
man.
Yeah,
But I'm not as rich as Cher, but
yeah.
I am Cher.
Disappointingly, but I will be Cher one day.
Yeah.
That'll be me.
Yes. So that's, yeah, it's, I don't know how much financial freedom other people have, and that sometimes makes me feel a little bit
Yeah.
put off, because I think when people are
And that didn't feel like
able
it was
to
relevant to the
make,
book, which I
no,
would say if I went to see a careers advisor and they never talked about anything relevant to like how you're going to make money, if we went to careers advice, it wasn't like including things about salaries, I'd be like, well, this isn't really careers advice because I need to live. If they were like, just
yeah,
become like a donkey sanctuary worker because you'll love that, I'm like, but
yeah. Oh
I
my God, I
can't pay
could do
my bills.
so. Yeah,
I'll be in the gutter.
if money was no problem,
Mhm.
there's loads of stuff that I do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just be writing. I would be, like you said, I'd be working in a donkey sanctuary. Um, but it's all fun and like all good and well to take the money aspect out of it, but
Mhm.
the money aspect, you can't pretend like that isn't the most important
Mm.
part. I
Yeah.
could do this as a hobby forever, and I could stop worrying
Yeah.
about making
Or you could
money.
work on one book for 10 years and try and get a chat deal. Like, that's just
Yes,
not the path
yeah,
you're on. And if you're an indie author, you're doing it because you want to, like, either reach a lot of readers or make a lot of money. Like, one of those two
yeah,
options. But, like, you're doing it, like, you're putting in a huge amount of work because you want your work to be read for whatever
yeah.
motivation it is.
Hmm.
And it doesn't feel like that really came together at the end of the book for me
No.
enough. And again, it might be
Mm.
that, like, other readers are looking for other things in this book. And I really, I'm not saying this book is like bad or wrong. What I'm saying is, as I was reading it, I wanted to be really conscious of like what am I feeling is missing, so that then I know what the next thing to go and find for me is. Because at the end of the book,
Hmm.
what she does do is like give a sample career for each personality type.
Hmm.
And yeah, the one for me was basically like you love learning and like knowing about things, therefore you'll be sharing this with your readers, and like you'll find other readers who love learning. And it was like, again, this feels like someone telling me to write nonfiction. Like this is the theme of my life. Like please, I've made it clear I don't want to do that. It didn't feel at all like it was careers advice or career
No.
based, even like relevant to career. Um, and that's useful to know that like what I'm looking for is something much more practical at this stage in my life. Whereas I think I probably would have read that book and got more out of it as like a beginner. When I was like just trying to think about, and I sort of wish I had read it years ago, just to get more like permission to be only focus on things that would work for me rather than like what the loudest voices say.
Yeah, I think that this felt like a good time to read this for me, but only because I haven't read a lot of these books. So I haven't
Mhm.
already heard this, like the like career
Mhm.
advice stuff. I haven't heard that much. So it was like a really good book for self-reflection, but not for my career.
Mm.
But I liked it, and I'll read it again, I think, and I'll probably get a
Mhm.
paperback copy so that I can, um, you know, dog ear pages and things. But it's difficult to see how I could do anything with this information that's not like, I feel like it's mostly like it's mostly craft that she's trying
Yeah, there's a lot of craft
to
stuff.
help
Yeah.
with. And that is like, again, that's fine. I'm trying to get better at craft. I've been thinking about it a lot. I'm planning a new series. I will use any Enneagram stuff
Yeah.
for my characters going forward, because I think it's really fun. And
And it's still a really good, interesting point about like just generally pick a main character who's the same Enneagram as you. Like, don't fight against that, or someone
yes.
that you know really well that you live with.
Hmm.
But if you're doing a long series like interconnected standalones, don't do that. But pick characters where they're similar enough, like maybe they're in the same triad as you, so it's like heart, head, and gut triad. In the
Yes.
same triad, so at least you understand their motivations a little bit more, the way they think about things a bit more. Like that was really useful, but did not feel like careers advice.
No.
Um, and I think for me, what's most interesting about this book is, not about this book, but about what we're doing right now. Like having to come and talk to you about it made me really have to analyze and say, like, what am I taking away from this? Like, rather than just like I read it and it feels like, oh yeah, that's really nice, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of stuff where you're nodding along to it, but having to reflect on things like, is this the book that I want it to be? Is this the solution I'm looking for right now? No.
No.
Um, And that's fine. It doesn't have to be. Not every book is going to like fix the problem that you want it to fix for them. But that means that I really need to go out and find another resource that's about like, and it might. What I think it might be is like maybe not looking in the indie author sphere, like looking more generally in like business, like
Yes, yeah,
entrepreneurial space about like how to tailor your business plans to your personality type, rather than just follow the crowd.
yeah. Because the indie author space is like, it's not that it's a difficult thing to get your head around. Like, I understand write book, edit book, sell book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need to know more about that right now. Like you say, I need more life advice of
Mm-hmm.
like, this is who I am, and this is like what I really like respond to is, and I did Google this, but I didn't do too much deep diving into it, is big personalities, like famous people who have your type.
Yeah.
Is fun to look at because it's interesting to see. And I think the same when I see people who have got the same star sign as me, where I feel a kinship to like other Geminis and things
But
like
also, I
that.
think because we're both like so involved in fiction, we often find it easy to look at someone else and think, what would they do?
Yes.
And then, okay, if that person would do that, like say there's someone with your personality type in whatever it is, what would that person do? Therefore, does that feel right for me?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think the problem with like a lot of those when it comes to me, like both my Clifton strengths and Enneagram type are just like people who just sit around and think about a lot of stuff, who don't really do anything, like Sherlock. And you'd be like, oh, what would Sherlock do if he's an indie author? What would Sherlock do if he's an indie author? Not social media.
Yeah. No, we wouldn't be leaving the house. Or he'd be
No,
leaving
he
the
just
house
like uses
to get.
independent wealth to print his own books. That's what he did.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
great, okay. Um,
Yeah.
I do think. I think what I need to be doing is more like maybe going back and like using this framing of this idea of like you got the permission to say like you do not think like everyone else. No one
Mm-hmm.
does, right? And I'm not saying like I'm unique in person. I'm saying I have really been trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
Or round peg and square hole, which way is anyway, the wrong peg.
Whichever. The wrong one, yeah.
I think I've been really trying to do that because I like being a good student. Like I'm a learner and I like being like, okay, there's this to learn. There's all these podcasts. There's all this information you can find being a new author. If I just learn that, I will be able to do it. But I think I wasn't really taking into enough account the fact that like you're in a space where a very specific type of personality is loudest and
Yes.
they do not want the same things that you want.
Yeah.
Not in a Machiavellian way, but as in like the things that work easily for them, the things that are frictionless to them are a nightmare for me. And so
Yeah.
you're just setting yourself up to fail by saying like, okay, I'm going to listen to those people who are nothing like me and try and do the things that are nothing like I would want to do and then fail.
Yeah. Yeah, what we need is like, we need to start a separate Discord group for, and they probably exist.
Yeah.
Just like find your Enneagram
Yeah.
Discord for business women. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Because yeah, it's just need to hear more from other people doing it the way that I would do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is. That's the thing. I can follow a path that someone set, no problem. I love that. I love somebody showing me how to do something, and I can do that. That's how I learn. But I have yet to meet the person who is doing it in a way that I can copy.
Yeah.
And I'm not, even though I know I'm an adventurer for that's like the number 7. I'm not the first person. I'm not at the front of the herd when we're like going for a hike up a mountain. I'm in the back and I've got the margaritas. You know, so I'm happy to follow and cheer on and like put my feet where everyone else has put their feet. That's what I want.
And like the annoying thing is like there'll be loads of other 7s who are really successful who like you could follow their example, but then because I'm not the sort of person that's like up on a stage leading a conference, you never get the chance to hear from them. So I know I think people listening are going to say like, oh, it sounds, you know, like you want things to be spoon fed, to say like, oh, you want to see people who are like you telling you exactly what to do. But it's like, I think a lot of people get that. A lot of people who are entrepreneurs tend to be of like a similar sort of personality type, and neither you nor I have come into this as like an entrepreneur wanting to set up another business. We're people who like really love writing and therefore maybe not like the common sort of person who's an entrepreneur. And so it's maybe not easy for us to recognize like the voices who are speaking our language.
Yeah. If other people feel like we're making this into a really complicated thing, it's probably because their Enneagram is one of the more forward-facing ones. So when you see examples of things that you connect to everywhere, you don't realize how difficult it is when you can't see those things. And I know it's like not to step on like the LGBTQA plus thing, but like representation matters.
But for everybody, right? Like I think when you can't see women doing
everyone.
important jobs in business, you think like, oh, I won't go and do that because it seems like it must be a nightmare then. If women aren't doing it, it must be awful for women. Or, you know, maybe got their assumptions about it, but like, I don't know how to make it work the life I want. And like representation does matter in all areas. And if everyone you can see is doing things one way very loudly and saying it's correct, you're like, well, I guess I must try that. And then when it feels awful to you, then you're like, I guess I'm the one that's wrong. But that's not true. That's just that you haven't got enough experience in the space to know that you can find other ways of like trying to do it, and maybe try and seek out some different voices. I do always think like I wish at conferences they would make people announce like, here's my strengths, here's my Enneagram,
100%.
here's my privilege. Like FYI, I inherited £1 million from my husband when he died in mysterious circumstances.
Yeah, and then I can be your best, and I can be your best friend. But I do think, I mean, even like when we went to SBS last year, and no one was even saying what their genre was on their name badges. That's, to me, like, I want to make friends, and I want to easily be able to identify the people. I mean, and I get on with everyone, so it's not that it's like, oh, I'm only going to be friends with the people who are going to benefit me. That's not it at all, because I can make friends with anyone. I love people, but I need to make friends with people who are more like me, because those relationships are the ones that make me like better. And I know, like, even from an ADHD point of view, is that having friends who are like that, who are like me, has made my life better, because I don't feel like a psychopath anymore. Like, I feel like a normal person, and me and like some of my friends message each other with like memes and stuff that we found on the internet. It's like, why are we like this? And you start to see loads of people who are like you, and it just makes things easier. And that's what I need for this. I need to find those people, and everyone needs to start putting on their badge. Like, I just need to scan a QR code and see your whole personality type, and it should be like a matchmaking.
Yeah, I think that is really an important thing to note, is that like we both have got really good indie author friends, and it's unbelievably helpful to have like a lot of other people in the community and to be able to ask some questions. But I think there is, I do feel like I've got a gap in my life at the moment of just like more people who I think approach things the same way I do. Because I think when you're stuck at something and everyone gives you a solution, just like, what are you talking about? I would never do that. That sounds like I might as well go like jump off a building. I can't understand how that's even a solution. To them, 100% it would work for them. It would feel comfortable for them. It's the correct thing. But for me, I'm like, that is nothing I would ever do. And it would be painful and unpleasant for me.
And and you can't explain why either. You can't explain why that doesn't make sense to you, and they can't understand why it doesn't make sense. So it's not like it's bad advice, and it's not like we're being stubborn and like argumentative. It's just like literally asking us to do things that I just physically could not do.
And it expends a lot of emotional energy to try and discuss those things and figure out like, is that for me? Am I being a bit stubborn? Like sometimes I'm being stubborn and be like, I couldn't do that. And sometimes I'm being like, oh, I tried this several years ago, it didn't work, and I'm just like wanting to close off from it. And so I think it's quite hard to figure out like, what is me just feeling a bit stubborn versus what is me just being someone who would never get enough out of that to ever do it. And so I think it feels like that's what I'm missing at the moment, is just like a little bit more, whether from a book or a person, like it doesn't really matter. Like I think this book would have been useful. That's what I was looking for. But a little bit more individualization towards like what's going to work for me. specifically. And maybe what we're saying actually, the whole conversation is like want some coaching.
And maybe,
Um,
yes, yeah, that could be it. And like that's fine. That's fine to come to that realization.
yeah,
Maybe we do both need a coach.
yeah, because I'm seeing Becca Syme next week because I'm very very cool. Uh, she's at SPS, and she's doing an extra session at SPS before the conference, which I don't know anything about it at all. I've done no research on this, but I just saw Becca Syme like extra course. I was like, yeah, that's for me. I'll do that. So whatever she's doing, I'm there. Um, but I feel this is a real epiphany. I think I'm going to use this as a chance to see like, do I actually just want to get some individual coaching on something? I think I've definitely held off doing it because it feels wasteful and indulgent, and that's not true at all,
No.
right? And it's just because it feels like I'm not worth it. That's honestly what it is. Like it feels
Oh,
like I would be indulging myself on something I should fix myself. I should just pull my
no.
bootstraps up, right?
No. Yes, and I'm here to tell you that's incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. To say
Yeah.
that you're not worth it, I
As in I'm not
refuse to
worth
believe
like
that for anything.
it's more just like I'm not like that that's I shouldn't need that, right? It's like I shouldn't need that extra special
No,
hand-holdy help.
you do need extra special hand-holdy help, and I think everybody does. And
Yeah.
that's like, I think that it's a better life. Like the world is so much better when people like get a hand from somebody. Like
Yeah.
I think this is the
And
community
I mean,
part
that's
of
true.
my
Like, I would say that to
personality.
anybody else, right? I would say that to
Yeah.
anybody else. And I absolutely believe in like coaching and therapy and everything. But I
Hmm.
think it has felt like a real block.
Yes.
Um, just that, like, oh, my business isn't successful. So why would I invest in me, the person who runs
Hmm.
a business, who
Hmm.
is already not making money? I'm not going to give them more money.
Yeah. This is
But
the
what was
money
really
thing for
interesting is
me.
I early this year, I was at a talk by somebody. I feel like I want to kind of anonymize this. I was at a talk by somebody who was incredibly successful. And they said that when they put together their business plan, they got one-on-one coaching with Becca to run the plan past her and see, is this going to work with my personality type or is it with their Clifton strengths? Is this going to work with my Clifton strengths? And I was like, that feels like mind blowing. And this person, I think, was already incredibly successful at the time. And it was like that person investing in themselves and like really trusting. It's yeah, I think part of it was like really trusting there to be an answer. And I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
part of why I have like resisted looking into it in the past is also it feels um like a thing where if there is no good answer, then you're like, oh, now I'm really out of options.
Yes, I understand that part. I think being told the answer and then if it still doesn't work, what does that mean? Is it a
Yeah,
waste? Like, are you have they got it wrong? Have you wasted their time? Did you not really understand what they told you? Did you accidentally ask the wrong question? That's the difficult part.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you'd kind of
yeah.
hope.
Asking them a question and feeling like I shouldn't need that help,
Yeah.
which isn't true. It is just a block that
Hmm.
I have,
Hmm.
and feels like a real epiphany, and does feel like I could spend, £1,000 wasted on Facebook ads, right? Because I'm doing the wrong thing, because I'm in the wrong genre, I'm doing the wrong like focus on my business. And that would be like what people consider to be like, oh, that's a learning cost, right? You're learning how to do ads. But like if I spent £1,000 on coaching and they were like, don't do any of these things,
Hmm.
invest your time and money this way, I'd be like, oh, that would have changed everything.
Yeah.
And I just have not like let myself think about that enough. This feels like a real epiphany, and I'm going to think about this more because that is what like the book. That's what I was looking for in the book. Was like
Yeah.
a steps of like think about these. These are kind of on the yes list for you. These are on the no list for you. Like consider this your personality type.
Hmm.
Not even that I was looking for like a hand holding instruction list, but like here's ways to sort of narrow down what you should be thinking about. But the book was very much like here's the sort of themes you should like. Like
Hmm.
okay, not what I'm not looking for right now.
Yeah. Yes, I had like a similar thing. Although I do think that I did get some career advice out of it, um, in terms of not so much like what I should be doing, but what I shouldn't be doing, which is, I'm not going to take this as like an actual thing to do, but one of the things from my personality type did say plans their next genre before they've even finished their plans to change genre before they've even finished their current series. And I thought, I keep forgetting that in my current series that only the first book's out right.
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting because I'm so like, the second book's coming out and the third book will be out by the end of the year, but I'm already, because I'm so future casting, I keep forgetting that I can't really make, I don't even know what this series has done yet to make a decision on the next series. And that was a bit of a like, oh, yeah, good shout. Maybe I'll just... I know what I want to do next, but maybe I'll just hold off a little bit on jumping ship.
Yeah.
Before I see actually how much money I could make from this current series that I've got, which I haven't released yet. So that was like an important thing for me to read. Say, oh yeah, you caught me. You caught me red-handed on that one. Might as well just slap me in the face. But yeah, I really I don't know what my next step is from this book. I think my next step might just be to wait.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that is
and
that
not,
is a big step.
Yeah, because I am like a run ahead, like just I get all excited and start doing all the different things and think about the next thing to do. And I think maybe I should just like, I'm just about to release a second book in a series, so maybe just wait and see and let all of this settle and see what happens.
Actually get the results from what you did rather than be like, throw that behind you like a grenade and then run.
Yeah, because that's, which is what I do for everything. It's like, throw the grenade, close the door, right, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing obviously like Facebook ads for the last 6 months, and I have been using Meta AI just to kind of look at the results because I'm terrible at. I get the data and I don't know what to do with it, and the AI thing is like, for a first book with a cold audience, because it's like technically it's the first book, 'cause it's my first book under this pen name, which is like another thing that I don't really take into consideration. It's like I've just changed, like I am my own worst enemy. That actually my results aren't that bad because it's like I'm still just trying to sell one book and I don't have anything else to make money from. So I think just calm down is what I need to do, which is what all of my teachers at school used to say. So maybe I'll take that advice now. Just like
that's finally hitting.
Just calm down for a bit. Like 20 years too late, but here we are. I think that's my positive takeaway.
I feel like we both really learned from this book. I think we've not learned what we thought we would learn. But,
no.
And actually, I probably wouldn't have learned as much had we not talked through it.
Yes.
And it feels very helpful to try and get a framework of like how I process a book rather than just be like, read it on my Kindle, then never think about it again. And often what you like read to 70% and then wander away and do something else.
I 100% could have stopped at 70% on this book because I didn't know what else was coming. And it didn't feel like I got to 70% and I did think, like, do I need to finish this?
Yeah.
But I did, and it was good. I did need to finish it because I needed to like complete the thoughts that it had stirred up in me. But yeah, I'm glad we talked about it. It feels better than just having all this information in my head. I do feel like I've had some good epiphanies.
Yeah. Me too.
Epiphany. Okay, I think I'm done talking about this.
Yeah.
And I'll just finish off by saying that if you ever want to know who my famous public figures are, who are 7 Wing 6, Elton John, Miley Cyrus, Katy Perry. I could just I should be a singer. I mean, could be. I've always said I missed out on being a pop star. Could have been a pop star,
but also like quite eccentric, go your own way singers.
Yes, yeah.
Some like sometimes the worst enemy people.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and probably more like Katy Perry and accidentally changing her look too many times, and everyone's now just very confused. That's where I'm like. I'm on the cusp of that, and I need to pull back.
Yeah, you've flown too close to Katy Perry's son.
Yes, like I don't need to go down that road. But another person that it's brought up for business is Richard Branson. So I've got it in me.
We can see that again, though.
Yeah.
Like Maverick, I think Maverick is the.
I need to lean more into
Yeah.
being quirky and fun.
You can literally go. Everyone's going to space in that list. You go to space.
I need to go to space. No, I never want to go to space, but I could twerk on stage, like the VMAs or something. It could be Miley Cyrus.
Never want to go to space.
I never go. Never put me in space. No.
Like, I'd be first on the list if there's like sending people to Mars. I'd be straight in.
Absolutely not for me. I'll stay here with the trees. Don't put me in space. That's a surefire way to find out that I'm claustrophobic. I don't think I am, but I feel like in space I would be.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You don't have to go to space, even though everyone else in your type is going to space.
Yeah, that's fine. But one of us has to stay down here and keep the party going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so next week we are pulling back the curtain and revealing what really goes on in our mastermind days. Oh, how exciting. Why are we sharing this with everyone?
I think it's a very vague term. I think I've seen a couple of posts recently in Facebook groups inviting other people to masterminds, and then questions in there from people that I know were successful authors and like are in other groups being like, what do you mean by that? Like, are you inviting us to like pay money to learn from you? Are you expecting us to teach people in your group? And I think the term is used so broadly that it can mean a lot of different things. And we've often talked about like encouraging people to set up their own mastermind. I think we just wanted to go into like actual detail of what we really discuss beyond eating sushi, like what we do after that part, and actually what we really talk about. And we've talked about a few other podcasts. We've been guests on a few other podcasts, and you can find the list in the show notes, in fact. And I think we talk in some detail in that, but I think we wanted to go through in enough detail that you could set up your own group and figure out like how to build a discussion with kind of someone like at any stage of knowing someone, ideally someone you know well, but like maybe you're just getting to know them, and how you'd build it up. So anyone
like
could
less anecdotal, which is definitely what we've done so far. Is we've talked around it. Like this is kind of what we do, and this is what we get out of it. Yeah, definitely more. These are the questions that we're asking each other, and this is how close we come to crying every single time.
Yeah. And some of it is similar to the podcast, but I think it's interesting when we talked about it before, we were talking about should we record one of our sessions, our mastermind sessions, and I was like, oh no, really no, because we are so open. Like I wouldn't want that recorded. I don't think it would benefit anybody, and we would then start to feel really close and like conscious of what we say. So I think we want to just be more like try and be conscious of what it is that we talk about and recap it. And we'll be recording this directly after a mastermind session, so we'll be able to be fresh from one and tell you like what we talk about and how we think about in advance. I think what is interesting is like how we think about what to ask each other in a way to like not just think like what do I need, what does the other person need, or how am I going to make them sneakily see that without being a bully. But that's just me.
But yes, I'm very much more the supportive part of this. Like you can do this, don't worry. Yes, but that's again, like personalities will come into it as well, because that's a very important part. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. I'm looking forward to our mastermind, which is tomorrow, and looking forward to the sushi and the bullying.
Yes, and we've also got a workshop coming up that if you're in the Discord you can find information of. So hop on the Discord, it is free, it's very easy to join, find information about our upcoming workshop about money mindset. Yes.
Yeah. I was looking at all of the details for it today and didn't want to do it, which means that I have to do it.
Yeah.
Yep. Very important. Yes, looking forward to that. Okay, if you like this, tell all your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbours, tell your pets, tell your enemies. Just
shout out the window.
Your local billionaire who may or may not have gone to space. Yes, tell everyone, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to Pen to Paycheck Authors.
Stay tuned for our next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to learn how to write your way to financial success.